Alright everyone, and welcome back. So today I just wanted to go through a weapon which has quickly become one of my favourites within the final shape, and it's one that I think is probably going to go under a lot of people's radar, but it's got massive endgame potential. Now, the Ded Gramarye IV shotgun is a brand new world loot pool drop from the final shape. You can get this from literally any legendary engram in the game, and I believe that this will also be possibly farmable within legend master lost sectors once we manage to find out what the rotation of the legendary loot is from them lost sectors. But in terms of perks on this weapon, now this thing is an absolute beast, and I think that this has got, like I say, potential to be an absolute monster in endgame PvE content. Basically, it's like Forebearance, but in shotgun form. Now, let me explain what's going on and why this thing is so good, and why I think you should definitely keep hold of some. This is probably the reason why chain reaction got nerfed a little bit, because this is the first legendary shotgun where you can get chain reaction on it, and with it being an arc special shotgun, then obviously this sits in exactly the same slot as Forebearance, which has basically been the ad clearing popular pick since time began. Obviously Forebearance absolutely god tier, chain reaction along with its soul drinker origin trait, then it's going to heal you on final blows with it, but I think the Ded Gramarye shotgun has actually a ton more going for it, and that's because of the wildcard origin trait. Now, wildcard is basically Telesto but in legendary form, whereby final blows with this weapon will create elemental sub-munitions spawned at that location, and that depends on the type of enemy you defeat as to how many are spawned. You can get anywhere between 1 to 7 of these Telesto style bolts on the ground. Now, the thing with these bolts from the wildcard origin trait is that they essentially take on the characteristics of the weapon itself. So if you have chain reaction, then essentially these submunitions can generate chain reaction explosions on final blows if you manage to defeat any enemies with them. And obviously chain reaction is going to deal a ton of damage in a wide area, and so then you have a chance to create these Telesto bolts in a wider area as well. And if you're potentially just getting other enemies down to a little bit of health and they step over one of these submunitions, then bam, you've got another chain reaction style explosion going. And this thing has been doing absolute bits. I've been using it a ton in the overthrow content, going through the Pale Heart, all the stories, all the little side quests. Then this thing has swiftly become one of my favourite weapons in the past week or so since I managed to get it to drop. In terms of other perks that you want to look at on this thing, honestly every single perk in that final column is absolutely cracked. Like I say, we've got chain reaction, which is probably going to be the go-to pick for a ton of people. But I think if you want to look at leaning into that arc subclass synergy, then you really can't look any further than Voltshot. Now, I believe that this is also the first legendary shotgun that has Voltshot on it, and so with it being on a lightweight frame shotgun which has really fast handling, really good reload speeds as standard, then Voltshot's really going to do absolute bits on this thing. Obviously it's going to allow you to apply jolt to targets after reloading on final blows with this weapon, and that's going to create a chain lightning effect and also potential for high damage over time as well on that target for a roughly 10 seconds whilst that jolt perk is active. And Voltshot really does do bits, and I think is on comparison at the minute with chain reaction. Now, I do have one of each role. I do have chain reaction and I do have Voltshot, and to be honest, both of them are just absolutely superb. And because this is one of the brand new Pale Heart weapons as well, then all of the perks on this weapon can be enhanced, so you can enhance both of these perks. So you're going to be able to get Voltshot for a little bit longer. You're also going to be able to get that increased reserve ammo with enhanced chain reaction. But alternatively, I mean, if you don't want to go through that ad clearing monster that this Ded Grammar shotgun can be. Then you've also got Vorpal weapon, which is going to give you that nice 15% damage boost to bosses, vehicles and guardians in their super. And Surrounded is still absolutely immense. This is going to give you an absolutely massive damage boost, and if you get the enhanced perk, then that's potentially up to a 47% damage boost, and is just absolutely insane for a shotgun. And alternatively as well, you've got Golden Tricorn, which is actually doing really good in the current sandbox, especially in prismatic builds. But I can't look any further at the minute than either Chain Reaction or Voltshot in that final column. Now, in terms of where you want to go with this in the third column, is there are a few good perks, but I think there's a few that are a ton better than others. We have Discord, which is the one that I have with Chain Reaction at the minute, which isn't amazing. But if you think about it, this one procs on getting final blows with other weapons, and it's going to grant you essentially unlimited free ammo for a short duration. Now, if you're getting final blows with your kinetic weapon, or maybe even your heavy weapon, depending on what activity you're using, and then you swap to something like Ded Grammar with Discord and Chain Reaction like my role, then clearing up groups of enemies, you're essentially doing it for free. It's going to auto reload the weapon, and it's going to refund ammo, and basically out of thin air. And you know, I don't know what else to say about that. It's just absolutely immense. Alternatively, we do have a few perks that are going to increase the handling and the feel of the weapon. We've got Surplus, which can be really good, especially if you're using builds that are going to have a high amount of uptime of your abilities. Alternatively, Stats for All is going to be also excellent, and that absolutely pairs perfectly with either Voltshot or Chain Reaction, because you're going to be consistently hitting multiple targets and pretty much having Stats for All proc at all times, especially if you're clearing out bunches of enemies. Alternatively, Threat Detector is also there, and that can also do bits, and it's probably one of the better options if you don't want to lean into ability uptime or, proccing them final blows. Then this thing's always going to be active. Shotguns are close quarters weapons, and you're going to get that nice boost to your stability, your reload and your handling speed. And I think Threat Detector, you really can't go wrong with it. And if I wanting to chase this down, then I think Threat Detector is probably the best all-round perk that you can get in that third column, and that's going to pair absolutely perfectly with that Voltshot or Chain Reaction role. And it has massive potential for, like I say, getting rid of that Forebearance from your loadout. The ammo economy on this thing is just as good, to be honest. You essentially have 6-7 rounds in the magazine on it, and you don't have to reload, especially if you're using Chain Reaction. You're going to get the same style of explosion as you do with Forebearance, but you can just keep going. You don't have to wait for that reload. You don't have to, think about how much ammo you've got left. You've got 7 rounds to basically go and delete everything in sight. In terms of other perks that you want on it, then Shotgun is Shotgun in PvE content. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Corkscrew Rifle is probably going to give you the best overall well-rounded stat boosts, and if you want to boost the magazine size a little bit further, then you've got Appended Mag, Tactical Mag or Enhanced Mag, and they are all just going to be absolutely perfect on this Ded Grammar shotgun. So I just wanted to do a quick breakdown of what I think is going to be an absolutely sleeper pick in endgame content. It's going to do bits in dungeons, it's going to do bits in the raid, it's going to do bits in the Pale Heart, and I think it's one that you need to be tying down. If you found this God Roll guide helpful, in return maybe drop a like and leave a sub so that you can come back next time for some more helpful Destiny 2 content, and maybe also tell a friend as well so that they don't miss out on this God Roll shotgun. Now that you're ready to delete everything in sight, then I think chucking this shotgun into this next prismatic build will be absolutely perfect for your endgame content.